This is Uncivil Liberty. My name is Luke. As always, we have Halston. Say hi, Halston.
What up? What up?
And Horace. Say hello, Horace.
Hello.
That's what I got today for.
And Halston's actually back in the studio, not out on location.
That's right.
How was your trip?
Interesting.
It was an interesting trip to say the least. For posterity's sake, I'll not talk about it in case my daughter ever comes across these videos. But it was an interesting trip.
Fair enough. Okay. All right, good deal. So yeah, if you've been paying attention to our Facebook page, you've been seeing a lot of stuff being thrown out there. T-shirts. We are actually getting our shit together. We've got some T-shirt designs put out there.
And more coming.
And more coming. You know, we're kind of just gonna exploit the Teespring thing as much as possible. Apologize for the pricing. We're not making much of a profit on these things. It's like you buy a shirt, we're probably gonna make it maybe $2. You know, that covers the cost of, I don't know, our intellect. Yeah, I mean it's a great deal. You get our smarts for $2. I mean that's I don't know who's getting shortchanged on that deal, but and then of course YouTube, podcast, all the hell of a good deal.
Mm-hmm.
The Twitter space. Are we doing anything on the Twitter space?
Yeah, we're automatically putting all the shit that you put on Facebook on Twitter.
Awesome.
Working hard.
I got my Real Tree pink camo cup here.
I have a Tervis tonight.
There you go. I'm pissed because I paid like a solid $9 at Dollar General for this, and the goddamn liner is starting to separate.
Yeah.
It's like so I figured out how they actually make these things, and I got pissed off because all it is a steel exterior with Gorilla Glue on the inside, then a plastic liner, and then they called it some sort of high speed, hell of a good deal. But it is what it is.
I get the ones at Walmart.
Yeah.
The all stainless, 30 ounces for like $10 all the time. You know,
it was on a whim.
It's not Real Tree.
This is mossy oak. This is mossy oak.
Yeah.
I'm not sure what
more like mossy snow.
Well, part of the reason I started with the Walmart ones is I kept seeing actual sites who had actually done tests on them versus the Yetis. They were so damn close as to be negligible. So
yeah, I started out with the Arctics and then moved to the. You know what? Why don't we get on the fucking get this show on the road?
It wouldn't
so
be
back in my day.
No,
I know, but I mean, like we're talking about knee-jerk reactions, and like I know that mossy.
Fucking Horace just called us Sons of Liberty.
Oh, is that?
I'm pretty sure. I wish we could roll that back. I'm pretty sure he called us the wrong name, but that's okay.
Sons of Liberty. Yeah, but no, we're talking about knee-jerk reactions tonight, and I figured it'd be kind of. I was using a prop the best I could to kind of help segue, and apparently that derailed everything. But knee-jerk reactions, this past week has been full of all kinds of knee-jerk reactions, like every single week usually is. And this whole thing with the NRA and Yeti, we had. Was it Dick's was getting on this bandwagon? You can't pick up AR-15s at Walmart now. Apparently, I haven't seen any in stock unless they're being bought up. A lot of these knee-jerk reactions, not just in the public, but also big corporations trying to kind of figure out where the fuck they're supposed to land in this tumultuous society that we're in right now. And so, we figured we'd sit down, we talk about like a lot of these knee-jerk reactions. And I apologize if my camera's off base. My wonderful darling baby decided to climb up my desk and rearrange my desk for me while I was taking my morning shit. And I can't seem to get anything to set up right. But anyway, so biggest thing in the news is that this yet another shooting with an AR-15. AR-15s are being demonized yet again. Apparently they get up and walk by themselves and do all these horrible things, so we're going to blame the tool and not the tool that used them. But Halston, you kind of threw the topic out there. To an extent,
yeah, because this one is epically retarded. This one takes the cake. Look, I understand that you can attribute the specific firearm when 20 people die, and this firearm happens to hold 30 rounds, right? Not when 4 people die, because you can do that with 2 fucking Derringers. You know what I mean? Like this is like a different level of let's blame the wrong thing. And you're also in a fucking Waffle House that's the size of my living room. Like, if you look behind me, I know it's dark and everything, but that's about the size of a Waffle House dining area. So do you really think I need something that shoots 600 meters to kill 4 people in this fucking 1,800 square feet or whatever the fuck this is? It's that type of knee-jerk reaction is what. First of all, it makes you look stupid when you think you're using logic. Then the next thing that happens is the far opposite side starts to do crazy shit too. So when you these knee-jerk reactions, like I know they make you feel good because you feel like you put some logical shit on a piece of paper and you put it on whatever, you make a meme or whatever you do. But all you're really doing is stoking a fire on the opposite side of the field, and then they're gonna make you look stupid. And then someone from this side is going to stoke that fire, and they're going to stoke your fire, and everybody's just going to look like a bunch of fucking idiots, and nothing gets done. There's nothing solved, and here we go again. But for real, you're going to knee-jerk reaction about a firearm that holds 30 rounds in a place that has a sign up that says no firearms, which is really fucking works. But this naked dude comes in, he's crazy, and he has a gun that holds 30 rounds, and he only kills 4 people, and he wounds another 4. It's horrible that 4 people die. It's horrible that the other 4 got hurt or whatever. But again, I mean, you could have done that with a fucking slingshot. So,
when I saw that and everything, one of the first things I thought was, especially given the enclosed environment that he would be in,
yeah,
with limited maneuverability. Now, mind you, if you're tactical Timmy, a 9mm with because I do believe you can get 30 to 40 round extended magazines for those.
Yep.
Would be much more efficient in that environment.
Mm-hmm.
I
mean, but that's another part of the crazy thing. Like we happen to share a meme. I'm pretty sure I shared it, but I can't remember at this point. That the Occupy Democrats put out, right? And it was like, of course, it was another AR-15, and it was a Trump worshiping murder party, or whatever the fuck it was. It was really stupid.
A murder party.
Wait, I can't remember what it said, but it was something along those lines.
Occupy Democrats, so
right? Yeah, it was some kind of irrational bullshit. But like, why attack Trump supporters? I mean, I attack them all the time because they're generally stupid. But the ones, in my opinion, or whatever. But generally speaking, the ones who do own AR-15s are probably a lot more efficient than this dickhead was. So you're still demonizing someone who, if they decided to go shoot up a Waffle House, everybody dies. You know what I mean? Like you're making the argument for gun owners for responsible gun owners that we go out and we train and we know how to use our weapons properly. And here you are saying that you're demonizing us, you're demonizing gun owners because of this one dude that goes in and shoots these 4 people. But in reality, you should really be glad it's not us. You know what I mean? You should be like, pat us on the back. We need to get rid of more of these fucking idiots that get to buy AR-15s. And, we need to do our job doing a police call on some of these individuals. Like the ones I see at the range that are flagging everybody and trying to walk down range when people are shooting guns and shit. It's just, it breaks my heart a little bit. I mean, not really, but it does make me, it hits me in the feelers when someone.
It breaks my heart. No, not really. Fuck that. I ain't got one. I'm good.
It hits me in the feelers a little bit when someone puts something like this back on the responsible gun owner's plate. It's like, this is the NRA's fault, or this is AR-15 owner's fault. Like, no, it's not. This is this one dickhead. Just be happy you can't shoot worth a shit.
That's the truth.
Of course, go for it.
Yeah,
well, like I said, anytime something like this happens, you have both sides hammering the other. You have especially with this, like when we go back to the Parkland shooting.
Yeah.
Gun control was immediately brought out, and of course, for the first time in widespread, where it was really widespread all over the place. For the first time, we saw the left and, being truly honest about what they really fucking want. Ban all the guns. Which isn't going to work.
In all fairness, there's been a lot more of, I guess, the quote unquote left saying we don't want to ban all guns. We just want to ban only the ones that are semi-automatic. That would solve all these problems. How do you answer that?
Well,
getting rid of all semi-automatic guns.
First of all, define semi-automatic.
Oh, pretty much anything where it's one bullet, one trigger pull. That's pretty much
know.
how I'm reading their stuff. So
pretty much all modern firearms.
yeah, you can still keep your musket. I mean, if you have the black powder ones, you're all set.
Including all revolvers.
Yeah.
Theoretically speaking, yeah.
No,
and that's what kind of threw me is, when I heard stuff like this, it's like, well, we're not trying to get rid of all guns, just the ones that actually shoot things when you pull the trigger.
Right.
I mean, that's you have nailed down every single possible fucking gun out there.
Yeah.
Using this logic, and that's kind of going back to what Halston was saying. It's like people are too busy blaming the actual tool and not the person that's actually pulling the trigger, because as we've seen in other societies, even out in London where guns are illegal now knives are illegal, there's other ways to cause massive amounts of catastrophe and death. You don't need a gun. Are we saying that it's solely the gun's responsibility for what happened? Logically, no. There's no way you can say that. You have shitty people pulling these triggers, just like when we a lot of talk around the whole police shootings. It's not their gun that actually shoots them; it's the shitty person behind the gun.
Absolutely.
It happens.
How many times did Rodney King get shot?
Well,
you guys remember? You guys remember?
Like 20? 30?
No, he just got his fucking ass beat.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like, so that's it blows my mind that how you can blame anything. I mean, but what you said about London kind of brings a good point. Like, there's a dude that just got, what did he get, 90 days in jail for flipping off a traffic?
No, 8 months.
Cam?
He got 8 months in jail for flipping off a camera.
Yeah, 8 months for flipping off a camera.
Well, I don't know that it was necessarily flipping off the camera.
It could have been the radar that was in his car that was jamming.
It was something like public indecency or unbecoming or some shitty word, some stupid
obstruction of
British.
justice was one of the charges.
Something like
I think what really needs to happen is, since the police department took it upon themselves at that situation, to go ahead and post on Twitter about their recent victory here. I think everyone should just take pictures of them flipping them off and send them back to him in the Twitter space.
Yeah.
And, I mean, it's stuff like that. Yeah, I know this is kind of a side topic, but that's kind of stuff that kind of pisses me off. Like the police departments that are like, check out our biggest drug bust. It's like a rinky-dink like dollar store pipe with a small sack of drugs. Drugs.
Yeah, it's the reefers. Small sack of reefers.
Those goddamn pot needles. But yeah, it's like, they're like, hey, look at us, we're doing a good job.
Well, that does, I mean, that plays into what we're talking about, because that's the type of fucking society we live in, where they expect a knee-jerk reaction and a pat on the back. It's like, oh, look what all our cops are doing. They're busting homeless people for smoking pot. It's like, that's what they want. They want knee-jerk reactions. And I'm guilty. I'm just as guilty as anybody. I have knee-jerk reactions all the time. I'm just not fucking famous enough to spark something on the other side of it. Yeah, not you. You're really fucking professional. You hold your shit together.
I've had knee-jerk reactions. If you remember back when...
Horace is probably the one who has the least amount of knee-jerk reactions.
If y'all remember, I had some serious knee-jerk reactions when Roy Moore won the primary.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's the first time I've actually seen you get actually emotional in regards to.
I hate that son of a bitch.
Yeah.
I hate that son of a bitch. But I mean, to me, a lot of it comes back to there is a tremendous lack of logic across the board.
Yeah.
Because somebody says, well, if we just ban these guns, it'll solve the problem, or if we ban guns, period, it'll solve the problem. Okay, let's try a little logic puzzle here. This little thing. Okay, so banning guns will solve the problem. Okay, so gun-free zones will never have gunfire in them, right?
Mm-hmm.
Banning drugs will keep people from doing them.
Right.
Banning murder will keep people from committing it. No, and no. And no. Across the board, the answer is no.
Dylan popped up and he said that he bringing us a fresh Ice Cube quote. Weird, because this is the second time Ice Cube's come up in conversation in the past 2 days. With me, anyways. The AK-47 is a tool.
Yeah.
Don't make me act
Totally.
a motherfucking fool.
And then Halston responded accordingly.
I know that song too there, Jay Dillon. I love that motherfucker. That's my favorite
That's
song.
his jam.
It is, man. I love that song. When that song comes on, I turn it all the way up, I roll my windows down, I lean my seat back a little bit.
And he starts jerking it.
Fucking today is a good day in NWA. That's all I can think about.
Mm-hmm. Anyways, so moving past the music commentary.
Yeah, we'll never get past that.
Yes, and Brandon is commenting on the one thing Roy wants jerking anything around his knee is a 14-year-old girl.
That's
fair enough.
But they never had sexual relations, Brandon.
But let's move past the gun conversation. I feel that we have just become a gun show, a nonstop gun rights show.
That's true.
Let's move past that and look at other knee-jerk reactions that we see on a pretty regular basis,
like cannons.
Cannons. So let's talk about field artillery for a second.
Yeah.
See what those goddamn 13 Foxtrots are up to these days.
Those rascally little bastards.
Those fucking worthless turds. But, there's other things that we see that constantly pop up. And one of the things, I'm not a Trump fan. I don't want anyone to ever think that I'm a Trump fan. But one thing I am growing fucking tired of seeing is the commentary on how much golf this motherfucker plays.
Yeah.
All right. Let me let you guys in on a little secret here. Obama played a fuck ton of golf. All right. Obama was actually jet setting his entire family around the goddamn world on the taxpayers' dime, and everybody was cool with that. I'm not defending Trump. I'm just saying, hey, look, we have a lot of quote unquote welfare whores taking advantage of the system, and in this case, exactly what's going on. But to be fair, George W. Bush, he had his fair share of golf days. Bill Clinton also had his fair share of golf days. So, and this is a knee-jerk reaction. Exactly, he was getting blowies.
Yeah, these other guys they ain't got shit on him. He'll always be.
Bottom line is that it's you see this all the time. You hear it coming from different avenues depending on who's in power, and it's always the same knee-jerk reaction, just being said out of different mouths.
Yeah,
because Trump supporters have no fucking problem with how much golf he plays.
Right, just like Obama supporters had no problem with how much shit that he was doing.
Yeah, it's a really stressful job.
Fucking flying out to Hawaii for vacation and shit, and spending millions of taxpayer dollars on it. And, that's cool. Conservatives like that's just a waste of money. We need to be fiscally responsible. Yeah, they get in power. What do? Raise the fucking debt ceiling. All right, cool.
$19 billion to build one rocket to protect us from someone we're going to be friends with.
How do you respond to that? How do you respond to the knee-jerk reactions? First off, how do you not get sucked into it, and how do you logically, I guess from a liberty perspective, respond and say, do you say, hey, look, you kind of blowing shit out of proportion? But if you do that, is it kind of like saying that to your significant other, where it's just kind of like, I think you're a little batshit crazy right now. I need you to dial it down a little bit. What's the best response to that?
The best response is to step away from the fucking keyboard and go outside for a little while.
I used to do that when I smoked, but now I don't.
And think about the shit that you're about to say. I'm just as guilty as anybody else. But I like to, when I go on a rant, I like to type out a really fucking long Facebook post. And then I go back through and I check it, and I'm like, well, that's a little irrational. And then I go back through and that's a little irrational. Or if I find something that's on the borderline of irrational, I'll expand that paragraph and explain it a little bit more, so there's no fucking question that I'm not having an irrational knee-jerk reaction. Which is why, if you've noticed, that all my Facebook posts recently have been like one sentence, because I can't fucking do that anymore. It's like, God damn,
I'm getting to the point of even responding to some of these political conversations is a knee-jerk reaction, period. There is just no point. People are just there to bitch and moan, and if I want to throw something out there, usually it's a sentence or two, that's it. I'm not going to respond. They don't give a fuck. I'm not going to sit there and engage some troll for an hour and a half of my life.
Unless
for me,
Curtis, I'll do that.
I've gotten to the point to where when it comes to online, I just assume it's a fucking keyboard warrior, and I read through everything and move on.
Yeah.
I don't even bother replying. I don't do anything. I just move on. I
All
do
right, so
not have time, unless I know you in person and we are talking in person. Go
right.
fuck yourself.
If it's actually true, if it's a conversation and not just an emotional diarrhea session, totally. Brandon Lane popped up and he's saying that the reason people destroyed Donald over his golfing is because he preached against Obama's golfing. So that's the issue. Okay, great.
That's
But
fair. That's fair, but that's a pretty general statement too. Like
true.
the reason people say that, but that's not all people. There are a lot of people who blast Donald Trump for playing golf just because he's Donald Trump, because he's not playing on their team. Because I can tell you right now, about half the motherfuckers that call themselves liberals, if Donald Trump would have ran as a Democrat, they would have voted for him. They would have thought every fucking thing that he said is absolutely fine. And the same thing goes for Hillary Clinton. If she'd have ran as a Republican, half the motherfuckers that call themselves conservatives would have been like, yeah, it's okay. Libya wasn't that bad. That's just the way they play the game. I don't think it has much to do with. Now there are some intellectual thinkers out there. There's one or two that are like, he did give Obama a whole bunch of shit for playing golf, and here he is playing golf every goddamn day.
Yeah.
Aaron and I were talking about that earlier because he did give, like, all of his fucking tweets in 2013 were all about playing golf.
Oh yeah. But you can see the same thing with Obama when he was gearing up for the presidential bid too, where he was talking about he's going to shut down Gitmo, he's going to end these wars, he's going to do this, that, and the other, and giving George W. Bush a hard time about the continuation of all these overseas aggressions. And honestly, Obama became one of the greatest Republican presidents we've ever seen.
Oh God, yes.
Continuing on, I mean, this is George Bush version 2.0.
Yeah.
So it's like you kind of got to take a step back and realize kind of what's pandering and what's true sentiment. And with a politician, it's pretty much 100% pandering, no doubt about it.
Well,
That's
and
when,
I mean,
when you, especially if you're at that level, no, don't even waste your time.
When it comes to Obama, I do believe he's done something no other president has done before or since. I think he's the only president to ever order the assassination of 2 U.S. citizens on foreign soil by drone.
That's true. That I'm aware of, anyways.
And that's the thing that's one of the biggest knee-jerk reactions, in my opinion. The ones that you are so plugged into the team you pull for that you can't see the shit that they do.
Right. You can't see the forest for the trees. You can't take a step back and look objectively.
Yeah. Hillary Clinton and Barack Obama literally murdered American citizens. They literally called for that murder. I mean, you can call it's premeditated and it's a fucking murder. I mean, it may not be first degree or depending on where you live, but that's murder. And people still defend them. I'm with her. Well, that's great if you're with her. You're with a fucking murderer. But now, as soon as Trump took over, they had another thing, and I think they ended up killing an American citizen too on one of those raids in, was it Yemen or Syria?
Yeah. Like one of his first actions in office was another amazing drone strike that took it. That I think actually I'll have to dig that up for just a fact check, but I do believe that there was an American citizen involved.
Yeah,
yes,
I think that was an actual raid. I don't think it was a drone strike, but I can't remember.
Was it?
I can't remember. I feel like it was.
It's just been so much. There's just so many to choose from.
There's still everybody shares the meme with all the 5 guys from Benghazi that died. Like, bitch, your fucking Lord Commander just killed some people too.
Oh. Here's the question though: even if an American citizen was killed, was he the target?
That's true, and I want to say that one of them was, or maybe he was.
Because
I'd rather not say yet because I'm not for sure.
If I understood correctly, Obama specifically had both of those people targeted, and one of them was a teenager.
Yeah.
I didn't hear the fact that the teenager was a target. I think that it was he was with the target, but he was still a minor, and he still was an American citizen, and it brought up questions about due process. You can't hold the son responsible for the sins of the father. So even if you wanted to swing it as a national security thing and they're taking out a terrorist, blah blah blah, that wave your flag and jerk your dick type of thing. Bottom line is he's still a fucking minor. He still had some rights that nobody gave 2 shits about.
And that's still a knee-jerk reaction. It's he's a terrorist. Well, by golly, we need to kill him. Like that's the reaction that you're going to get some people who can't make rational decisions. They can't be like, yeah, that's still not good. Let's go ahead and not do that. But they can't do it.
And that's one of the things that I kind of enjoy, I guess, with the political mindset that I have is that, I'm not emotionally invested in the conservative versus liberal, red versus blue game. I can kind of take a step back and it's kind of like watching toddlers fight in front of you, and you can just kind of laugh and be like, that's kind of fucked up. You don't have to take sides,
Yeah.
I don't have a horse in that race, and
Yeah.
I think it kind of goes for all of us. We have a little bit more objectivity, but even when it involves like the libertarian aspect of things, like the proper big L libertarian aspect, we still maintain a level of objectivity and saying that's kind of fucked up. It's kind of it is what it is. And be able to call people out on their shit. That's one of the things that I kind of enjoy about what we're able to do, given the perspective that we have.
Yeah, and I also think it's interesting to see the memes that come from. It's like they're like all my conservative friends think I'm liberal, and all my liberal friends think I'm conservative. Like that pretty much sums up the way I am. Because I've lost like 400 friends over the last year for some reason.
Yeah, I've never had that many friends, and I'm okay with that.
Yeah. That's good. I'd like to be in that position too. But yeah, I had like 1,200 at the beginning of this election cycle, and then I lost them pretty quickly. But because I gave conservatives so much shit while Obama was in office, because it was just there was so much irrational shit going on. Now there's more irrational shit, and I'm giving liberals shit. It's just, but it's never. There are some knee-jerk reactions. There are some sides that I take on certain things, but for the most part, you're right. It's like, fuck, man, I don't have to deal with this shit.
I think and kind of Horse. Did you have something to say? I don't want to interrupt you.
No, I'm just looking something up.
Oh, okay, cool. He's doing the quick fact checking. That or he's looking at porn. One of the two.
Probably
Neither.
Neither. Okay. But no, and Brandon Lane popped up a little bit before the show, and he was talking about Jordan Peterson, and I've seen the name float around Facebook. I've never taken the time to actually investigate. I told him I was like, let me kind of just read up on some of this stuff. What Dylan said, LNC convention coming up. He got 10 friend requests today. Yeah, they're your friends for a small period of time. It's Facebook. I wouldn't necessarily put too much stock in it. But so I just going back to it, the Jordan Peterson thing. There seems to be a lot of knee-jerk reactions to that as well. Like you have people who are like, this guy is shit and this guy is God. And so I kind of went in and kind of did some digging. And if you're one of my personal friends on Facebook, I kind of pulled out one of his pieces and kind of picked it apart a little bit. But I'm not seeing, just based on kind of a fresh set of eyes coming into it, I'm not really seeing too much on the limited information that I looked at where it's like he's either good or bad. He just seems like he's a pretentious academic who likes to use big words and talk. But you have
just used two very big words in that sentence.
Pretentious and talk.
No, academic.
Academic and pretentious. Yes, I can come across as
that's 4 syllables, bud. That's a no-go on this show.
Dylan's using the term friend very loosely. Exactly. One thing I've learned being around the Libertarian Party in general, whether it's national, state, whatever, the term friend is it's acquaintance at best. Let's see, what would be a temporary ally maybe would be a better term. Not always the case. I've met some amazing people, but I've met some real shit people in the Libertarian Party too. So.
Oh yeah.
But kind of going back to the Jordan Peterson thing, I just I don't really have enough, because a little bit of stuff like it's like I can kind of agree. Some of the stuff I'm like you're way the fuck out there, but nothing that's earth shaking, nothing that's really warranting him to be some sort of amazing source of intellectual thought. He's a psychologist. Okay, that's great. That means jack shit to me. I don't know. That was just.
We got a comment here. Politics are inherently knee-jerky, and that's for the most part that's true, but they shouldn't be. And shouldn't be. Maybe that's a strong phrase, but definitely around election times with the shit that doesn't really matter, but 80% of the country thinks it matters. That's the inherently knee-jerky shit that just drives me up the fucking wall. Like it's always gay rights or some sort of equality. It's always abortion. It's always guns. It's always taxes. It's always taxes. Let's take that one off the board because I'm about to tear it apart. But those three things, there's got to be something else, I'm sure. But those three things specifically, they're all knee-jerky. Because it's a knee-jerky. The whole damn concept is knee-jerky to talk about abortion and especially like LGBT rights and guns, because frankly, not that many people, when we're talking about all 330 million of us, not that many of us get abortions.
Yeah.
Not that many of us are gay, and not that many of us are out shooting people. I mean, it's just really that simple. I would say the LGBT community is growing at a rampant pace. Like I would say maybe 20% now, or maybe 30%, something like that. So it's a bigger portion of society, but definitely not people who get abortions, and definitely not people who run around shooting people. You know, like, so why do those dominate our political conversations? And it has to do with this knee jerky shit that everybody thinks that's the cool thing to basically to base who makes our laws on. I mean, did I say that right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Basing fucking elections off of those specific things. It's just fucking retarded.
Retarded. Well, Megan popped up and said that people that talk just to hear themselves talk are the worst. I don't know if she's talking about our podcast, about what we do. I don't know. Maybe it's a little jab. Maybe we need to freshen up the content a little bit.
I got this bomb-ass microphone and these bomb-ass headphones, and my voice sounds fantastic.
That's what I'm saying.
I'm gonna continue to do so.
And Dylan popped up war. You know, war's a knee-jerk reaction.
It is a knee-jerk.
You know, I think that to an extent there needs to be some reaction to it. You know, we've been going on how many years now of nonsensical war. People have to.
Well, fucking 280.
Well, no, I'm just saying, like, you know, as far as our lifetime.
Yeah.
I mean, looking back, like since 2001, it's been fucking nonstop.
It's been nonstop, yeah.
And
I think technically farther back than that.
I think it does go back to
50 something.
I think it goes
40-something?
back to the Korean War. Yeah, that if you've been alive since the Korean War, you've never known a time that we haven't been in some war.
See, I saw somewhere, because if you're born in 1980, only 20% of your life has been in a non-war environment. You know, looking back as a kid, like I'm the only one. I can only really truly recall like a real war. I'm not talking about like Grenada. I don't really consider that. But you know, like 93, the first Desert Storm.
Yeah,
I remember that. Remember when that happened. But for the most part, things were kind of quiet. What's sad is that my kids being brought into this world have never known a time we're not at war. And nobody, even people who are supposed to support liberty or be anti-war, tend to be super duper quiet about this. Yeah. It's just people have come to accept that it is what it is. So I mean, maybe at times not so much a knee-jerk reaction because it's been 15 years. I don't think it's knee-jerk at that point. I think people are just exhausted. You know, we're tired of seeing people being slaughtered for no reason, regardless of the color and the type of uniform they wear. Let's just fucking call it. Just get it done and over with. Walk away. Do whatever.
I mean, we haven't won a fucking war in a really long time. What are we trying to prove? You know what I mean? Like, realistically, like Desert Storm wasn't a fucking win. Like, what, we just bombed a bunch of people with the fucking right on the border. Like, we won. What'd you win? Nothing. Great.
Not a goddamn thing.
You know,
liberated Kuwait. I mean,
we didn't fucking win Korea, and we didn't win. I mean, who really wins a war? You could argue that, but like, we definitely didn't win Vietnam. Like,
right?
What the fuck are we winning? We didn't win Iraq, but George Bush said we won in like 3 months.
Well, if you notice that around 2001, we stopped actually having true technical enemies, and now we're fighting ideas.
Yeah.
The war on terrorism. You know, now we're at that level where it's like, we can't say we're going to war with X because they'll probably kick our ass, so we're just going to go fight an ideology.
Yeah.
A subjective ideology on top of that, because one man's terrorist is another man's freedom fighter. Yep. And from the opposite perspective, them looking at us, we're the terrorists because we're the ones invading their country.
Yeah.
It's just really about perception at this point.
It is. It is all perception. And for people who, I mean, there are literally guys that I deployed with that still think that we were fighting a whole bunch of bad guys and they're all fucking worthless Muslims and shit. It's like, how could you were there, motherfucker? Like, what? Did you forget that there was dudes that were just getting paid $20,000 to go dig holes or die? Like, that's your choice. Here's a whole bunch of cash that you guys can live forever, or I'll just murder you and your whole family. What do you want?
Right.
Yeah.
I don't believe I'll go dig a fucking hole.
Anyway, I mean, kind of just pulling it back in as far as these knee-jerk reactions. best ways to respond to them? Should we even engage these knee-jerk reactions? Is it worthwhile, or would not engaging knee-jerk reactions, for example, this whole gun grab, nonsensical, let's ban all the guns thing, if nobody responds to it, then people will think that is now the public opinion. Should there be an equally loud, if not louder, response to the knee-jerk reaction by utilizing another knee-jerk reaction to counter the knee-jerk reaction on this side?
I think. Go ahead.
Well, I was just gonna say something completely stupid, so you can go ahead. I'll save it. There just need to be
Never
big fucking lights.
Stupid. Everything stupid belongs in this show.
That's right. There just needs to be flashing lights that Facebook puts out anytime you post a stupid, retarded article. It just flashes like this is.
It would never stop flashing.
Right, and then maybe people get tired of it. But I don't know. You got a good point. Go ahead, Horace. You make a point, and then I'll make another point.
I think it depends on how you define we.
Yeah. Because
with something like that, the left has a knee-jerk reaction. The right's going to respond. Period. In the discussion, there's no, it doesn't matter if they should be agreeing. They're going to disagree. Just because it's the other side. I swear, if the left said we just need to do away with the what is it? CSA?
The Confederate States of America.
Confederate States of America. I'm pretty sure they've already agreed to that.
No.
No, okay.
I forget the name of the law. The one that basically banned all the automatic weapons.
Huh. The NFA?
No.
I'm not really up on
that.
Yeah,
NFA, National Firearms Act.
Yeah.
If they said, let's just do away with it and open it up, the right would disagree just because.
Yeah, right. Because there would be some reason that they're trying to arm all the liberals.
So I don't, I think for us who are sort of in the middle, so to speak, I don't see any reason to respond. It's going to be responded to. It's even if we do respond, the people who are having knee-jerk reactions, statistically speaking, are not going to listen to reason in the first place. They're running on emotions, and that's, it's not going to matter.
But devil's advocate, though, the court of public opinion has the most sway, period. So if there's not people on the other side making rebuttals to this argument and just maintain radio silence in the situation, that many of the followers in society, the ones who don't possess an original thought, are going to think that this is the prevailing thing, and then make their opinions to be part of the popular crowd. Is that a fair statement?
It is.
That's a fair statement. I think that we all bear some responsibility to respond, but I think that we need to. Having an argument with someone is a bunch of knee-jerk reactions because you just simply can't plan out a logical attack to some kind of stupid statement to make them understand. But it's possible. So, and it's like, which battles do you pick? Like there was one today that was about white privilege, right? And I was just trying to prove, and I took my time and I did it as tactfully as I possibly could, that there is absolutely white privilege, just like there's black privilege and Hispanic privilege and Asian privilege. Try to go to a Chinese restaurant and get a fucking job. Any of us. I bet you can't do it. Bet you can't fucking do it. Because they have a certain privilege because of whatever they are. If you're Thai, right, you probably got a better chance of working at a Thai restaurant than I do. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
There's certain ethno privileges all across the country and certain sects, like not that kind of sex, sexes, like they're the Nigerian community in Atlanta. They're gonna hire people from Nigeria. That's just the way things are. So there are certain ethno privileges all across the board. So why wouldn't there be white privileges, right? But this overwhelming idea of white privilege is a knee-jerk reaction because, no, there is no such thing. Well, yes, there is. Well, no, there's not. And it just goes back and forth. But if you take the time to say, yes, there is, right? If you live in Arab, Alabama, and you're an all-white business, and you're probably a little tinge of racist, are you going to hire a black manager? No, you're not. Are you going to hire a white manager? If both the guys are comparable, you're going to hire the white guy because you're in Arab, Alabama. That's just what you fucking do. certain person had a little bit of privilege. It doesn't have to be this overwhelming idea that if you're white, you're better off, or whatever you want to believe. So, but taking that little bit of time to explain, sure, you're probably right. The things that you've experienced, it's probably because you worked really hard to get where you are and all that good stuff. But when you really break it down, there's some opportunities out there that white people jump on. You know what I mean? So it's
Dylan just popped up with gender fluid.
Yeah.
But I mean, but your example, I'll even take that and play the flip side. If you're in a predominantly black neighborhood trying to get a job at a a black-owned business versus somebody who's not white, you stand a better chance of not getting that job just because of that. I mean, I'm not saying it's right. I'm not saying it's wrong. It just is.
Right. Yeah, I'm not saying any of that.
It's just the way society is. Though what kills me the most about the white
There's a fucking reason why there's not a guy named Andy cooking your goddamn tacos at the fucking El Paso restaurant down the street.
There might be. You never know. You never know. He could own the place.
There ain't. Maybe at Rosie's where everybody's white, but not at fucking El Paso. Anyways, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I'm saying though, it's like, while you said yes, there's white privilege, I thought you were going to end the conversation there, and that we were going to have some intense discussion. But no, you're right.
Everywhere.
It's a societal thing. It happens. It's just how we as humans operate. We attract our similarities. Not saying it's good or bad. I'm in no way saying that I support an ethnocentric state. I'm in no way saying that I'm throwing my hat in with the alt-right side of the house. It's just the fact of the matter is that it largely depends on where you are at.
Yeah.
And what quote
really
unquote privileges are afforded.
And you could erase the word privilege and put racism, because that's probably what it is. It's like racial bias, maybe. Not so much privilege. Something like 90%. I don't know the actual number, but like 90% of mortgages are processed online.
You know that 68% of all statistics on the internet are made up, right?
50% of the time, yeah.
50% of the time.
Yeah, but I mean, whatever the number is, there's a shit ton of mortgage. Shit ton. That's an accurate statement. Shit ton of mortgages processed online. Do you think they give a fuck what color your skin is? Like, how about the people that do phone interviews? Over, that's like, I'm going to work in Seattle, let me call them up and let my boss interview me. They don't give a fuck what color your skin is. It's just, that's kind of a silly thing. But if you're going to work at a Nigerian restaurant, they want you to be Nigerian, know how to cook the goddamn food, If you're going to work for a racist, they want you to be white. Just the way it is.
Yeah.
Well, going back a moment, for me,
please.
And Halston will only get half of this. Luke, you should get the other half.
What?
It goes back to Will's show. It goes back to Will's show.
I am not Will Anderson.
No, you're not. But it goes back to Will's show.
He's not a bad guy if you get him off the air.
No. Like I said, Halston will only get half of this, but Luke, you will get the entire thing.
Okay, so I'm getting sick and tired of this already.
From Will's show, Edward versus Curtis. Talk about knee-jerk reactions.
Yeah. I got you.
That's what the majority of them would be.
All right, so I'm going to do a quick, for our viewers who didn't listen to the Will Anderson show when I was producing it, when you were producing it. There's a guy named Edward. He's a great guy. We're friends on Facebook. Definitely on the left side of things, but he was very much knee-jerk. He would call in, especially when Mo Brooks was running, he would definitely have a lot of choice words to say about Mo Brooks, about his Mormonism, his magic underwear, very, very knee-jerky in nature. Good guy. I mean, you meet him, if you ever meet him in person and just sit down and talk to him one-on-one, the whole political thing kind of falls away. He's a good dude, but totally get that, what you're saying, that you get those people who just get so built up in that emotion in that moment that they can't just take a breath and step back and say, where's the logic in my thought process right now? Does this make sense? Or am I just listening to what MSNBC is telling me to think? Am I listening to what Fox is telling me to think? Where am I getting my information from? What am I using to formulate my opinions, which are fueling my emotions? If you sit down and you study like neurolinguistic programming, which is kind of an offshoot of psychology, about how words impact our reactions and our opinions, you realize, you start to see that there's a process that each one of us goes through, that if we don't recognize it, we become victims of it. But we have to kind of take a step back and think, okay, is this actually legitimate information? Great example is my mom. Okay, my mom lost her shit over a story The Onion put out. She had a full-on meltdown.
Oh dear God.
Okay, I've seen people have meltdowns over Babylon Bee, which is just a spin-off of The Onion. You know, look at the information. Is this actually legitimate information? Breathe. Take that breath.
You're asking a
And
lot,
then-
bud.
I know. And then actually go and pull the other side. Everyone knows that the media is not unbiased. It hasn't been unbiased for a very long time. So if you're getting something from Fox, chances are MSNBC or BBC or somebody else has a different take on it. Read what they're saying, and then go and look somewhere else. You know, I will pull information from multiple different sources before I kind of get the truth. You know, go look at RT. People hate Russia. That's great. Yes, it's state-sponsored propaganda, just like our media outlets are. Totally get that. Read what everyone's saying, and then kind of formulate your opinion accordingly.
Well, I mean, for a couple of years there, two of the most accurate and, from what I could tell, unbiased sources, because they kind of hit, struck that middle ground between, say, Fox News and MSNBC or CNN, was RT and Al Jazeera.
Al Jazeera, that's what I was gonna say. I got a lot of my news from Al Jazeera, like during the Obama fucking Romney campaign, because they were straight shooters right down the fucking middle. I think they're state sponsored too, aren't they?
Saudi Arabian state-sponsored propaganda.
Yeah, but it was right down the pipe.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean it's bad when foreign state-sponsored news sources are more accurate than anything we have.
Right.
Yep. And that's one of those things that I don't know how to word this to make us still sound smart, but it's like the network news is a bit of a failure of the free market. It's this idea that you're going to continue to push out bullshit and get ads from certain people that these certain people want to watch, and then call yourself news, and you're able to. It's kind of
sensationalism journalism.
Yes.
Yeah.
I can't call it a failure of the free market, though, because it isn't a free market.
That's true. You're right. It isn't a free market.
Megan popped up. She says if everyone do a 10-second Snopes check before immediately sharing bullshit articles, it would save a lot of headaches. Snopes is by no means independent. They have been proven to be biased. So even you have to fact check them. I'll have to dig up the article. It's been years since I found it. That they're very heavy left leaning. People believe the name Snopes as to be independent. They're not. That's also politically charged propaganda machine as well. It sucks because I really wish there was a true independent source of fact checking and be able to say, call people on their shit without there being that political draw to it.
I think I read an article recently about Snopes that was it was like all the stuff that is verified.
I'm legit, Megan. I'm legit. That's
no bullshit. It was something like the typically conservative things that are on Snopes for fact checks typically are like partially true, I think, or there's something like that. Whatever their thing is for not quite true or not verified or whatever. Mm-hmm. So they don't get the automatic green check that others do. I mean, they're decently reliable, but it's still biased.
You still can't put your faith 100% in what they're saying. But there are a few organizations, if you're even interested, that actually are truly independent in regards to what's going on in Washington. I'll have to dig those sources up too. There's two that will pretty much lay out everything without a political spin, totally unbiased, and kind of give you a rundown of it. And I've got it. I'll dig those up and share those to the page for those who actually are interested. But for the most part, if you're a critical thinker, if you've actually spent some time looking at logic and understanding how logic works, you don't necessarily have to rely on a lot of those sources to be able to come to some level of a logical conclusion, that isn't knee-jerk one way or the other.
Yeah.
Everything is a lie. I'm sorry if I've ruined things for you in your life. I apologize totally. But when you're dealing with politics, when you're dealing with mass media, when you're dealing with anything like that, it's all about the sensationalism and it's all about the political leanings. there is not a true unbiased source out there. It's like I've heard people say that Breitbart's unbiased, and I look at them and I kind of want to just kind of want to slap in their face. But you know that these people are so blind to the fact that shit like that, those rags, not unbiased whatsoever.
Oh well, I mean, to me, it's just like I've heard various names, alternative names for the various news organizations.
Say how J. Dillon Mabry said C-SPAN. You know what else?
C-SPAN is unbiased.
Mayonnaise.
Look, C-SPAN is unbiased if they're doing a live stream of what's going on in Congress.
Yeah.
Totally 100%, because all it is a fucking live stream. I mean, I used to stay up late and watch when they would do the meetings with the Prime Minister in England. They would have, from the floor, the PMs or the MPs all get together and have their discussions. Love that stuff. I'm boring. For me, Netflix and chill is sitting there and watching that, or CNBC, something like that. That's my jam. But I mean, I have noticed that even like some of the other programs they'll put in from time to time may have a little bit of a lean to it here and there. But it's
all those.
I don't look at C-SPAN as a media source as much as just a feed.
Yeah, it's a feed. Like they do have some like news. Like pre-production isn't the right word because it ain't fucking produced, but it's like that's a half-assed news show. But they're heavily reliant on they're heavily oh my god, those pranks are the best. But they're heavily reliant on someone to pay their bills for them.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, how do you do a 95 hours straight congressional span and expect someone to be like, like fucking Reebok to put an ad out there? It just doesn't happen.
I mean, to a certain degree, though, some of the alternative names, for example, National Public Relations, Faux News, MSLSD.
Well, no, going back to NPR, I've always heard it best described as no personality radio, because I will listen to NPR. I'm not ashamed to admit this. I'll listen to NPR and then I'll turn on WVNN and then I'll get pissed off at both of them and then turn the radio off and sit in silence, because that's usually how it works.
There are a few things on NPR that are pretty good and interesting, but they're all non-political.
Saturday morning, Car Talk. Wait, don't tell me. All those shows, amazing. I love them, perfect. But when you start looking at these news sources, because they feed off these knee-jerk reactions, that's what sells. That's what makes, like Halston was saying, that's what makes the money. And even if you look at our local media here in Huntsville, that's what fucking sells. That's what actually gets the people to engage on the social media. And if anyone who knows me knows that I troll local media like a boss.
Oh, hell yes.
That was one of our first bonding experiences, trolling the fucking we were trolling Madison County Sheriff's Department.
Oh, that too. Remember that too. Yeah. That's good. That's good.
So fucking great.
Y'all have trolled a lot of places.
Yeah.
And Megan, I'm not saying NPR is 100% shit. I can't in good conscience say that really anything is 100% shit as far as media outlets, but you got to know what slant they're coming from and be able to take a step back and say, okay, I know this is coming from, this is being funded heavily by the left side of the house, or if if you listen to a Fox News report, this is coming from the Republican side of the house, the conservative side of the house. Okay, now that I have that information, if I care enough about it, I'll do some more digging. If it's something that pops up, I'm like, oh my god, I can't believe this happened. I'm so pissed off. I'm gonna reel it in for a second and get some other perspectives on it. Otherwise, it's just in one ear, out the other.
Yeah.
Paul Harvey. Oh my god, Paul Harvey. I grew up with that guy.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think that it's being able to have the discipline to step away for a second. That's how you fix this. But how you get hundreds of millions of people to do that, I don't know. I mean, I really don't know the percentage of people who will actually engage in political commentary, because I put some crazy shit out on Facebook and I can't get hardly anybody to bite anymore. And again, they might be
nobody's gonna fall for that shit anymore.
Yeah,
so nothing is true. Everything is bait.
Yeah, there was one dude this guy was in the army with. I used to get him to fucking bite every time, but he doesn't do it anymore because he fucking knows better.
Yeah, exactly. It's always fun to get that new person on your friends list to kind of see how much they're actually gonna sink their teeth, or if you post something that everybody knows that you're just being an asshole. They take it fucking like it's the goddamn gospel.
Yeah.
I was like, here you are, I'm breaking you in slowly but surely. Awesome.
Yep.
Oh, talk about posting and what I was trying to look up, and I never could find it. But you see the meme, where it's like, should I post this, and this to piss off the liberals, or should I post this and this to piss off the conservatives? I like the one that's got the third section, where it says, or should I post about anarchy and piss off everybody?
Everybody.
Yeah. It's very true.
If you know me, you know that especially when it comes to social media, I don't give a flying fuck. I will post what I want to, when I want to, where I want to. If I get banned,
That's right.
fucking
You got some bans.
I get 3 to 5 hours back in my schedule where I can actually go do something more productive. Holy shit, really?
Yeah. That's what I'm talking about, man. Plus, we got MeWe. We can't get banned from there. We just also don't have anybody. I was telling Erin about MeWe today, and she downloaded it, and then she was like, I was like, yeah, we got a group on there, and then I looked, and I was like, I'm still the only motherfucker that put anything in the chat box, so
yeah. Guys, if you're on MeWe, come find us. We have the group. Yeah. It's the links actually I think pinned to the top of our page. Come put some fun information, fun stuff in there. Like we're not as big of assholes as we come across. So please come to MeWe.
And also, you've gotten a ban or two, right?
I have, yeah. I didn't get the 30-day ban. I got the 24-hour ban.
So I'm the only one who has never had a Facebook ban.
Yeah, yeah. I've had a 7-day ban.
Rookie. I mean, I don't really give a shit.
I get Zucker fucked a lot. People will be like, okay.
What is MeWe? Megan, good heavens.
Get on the ball. Go to MeWe.
It's like
Facebook without the advertisements, and they probably still sell your information, but hey, it's really hard to get banned there. You really have to try to get banned.
Yeah, and there's all kinds of tit pics.
Yeah, I've yet to find those. Not that I'm looking, by the way, in case.
Well,
my amazing Amanda's watching.
Here's the thing. Here's the thing with MeWe. MeWe, you join a group. I joined a group that was like guitar players or some shit like that. The next day, it's called Purple Orchids, and it's nothing but fucking vaginas. It's the same damn group, but some other owner took it over, flipped it over, and now all these guitar players will wake up, and it's like a whole bunch of disappearing pictures of pussies, and it's like, what the fuck is going on? I didn't complain too much. I just got out of the group because I don't want to see. I mean, some people do. I don't want to see them all.
I don't want to see them all.
I don't want to see them all. If it looks like fucking clam chowder, you keep it.
Yep.
Anyways,
yeah.
But so carrying on. Yeah, MeWe's pretty fun. It's like it's a fairly private organization. You can set your privacy a lot stricter than you can on Facebook. Almost all of your pictures disappear in 24 hours, so there's no like, let me go back and see what this motherfucker did 10 years ago.
Didn't know that.
A lot in the chats, not your like, not your news feed or whatever. You just put it's just like Facebook.
Note to self.
In chats, you can make disappearing shit.
Megan's never been banned. Come on, girl, you got to step up the game.
Yeah, man.
All right, what else we got as far as I think we've kind of nailed down this knee-jerk reaction. We kind of put for those of you who actually give a shit and have listened, we're saying, hey, look, just take a breath. Fall back. And you got to remember that. Also keep in mind this, too, is that when somebody is in a deeply emotional state, logic and reason is not going to work. They have to come out of that emotional state before you can actually start talking logic and reason. Even if you are, quote-unquote, wrong in their eyes, they are less likely to have an equal and opposing knee-jerk reaction to what you're saying if they're able to kind of pull themselves out of it. And we can go into the whole physiological aspect, but it's where the blood in the brain moves based on emotional stimuli. Breathe. It's not the end of the world. Facebook is not life.
No.
And have fun with it. Stick to your guns, but don't. If you see someone having a come apart on Facebook about something, just don't poke the bear. You're not gonna make any friends doing that.
Or just fucking poke the bear, but make sure you explain yourself in a logical manner, and you're not just being an emotional wreck.
I'm just saying this to save people time and heartache, because
I
am the guy that would spend 5 hours debating somebody in anarchy fucking Facebook groups. I can't count the number of hours I wasted debating Justin Stout
Oh, the Bustus League. Where is this group? Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you, but there's a boob group that I didn't know about.
I haven't seen anything from that group in forever. I joined it like 5-6 years ago, and I have not. Am I even still in it? I don't know if I'm still in it or not.
Don't know.
Well, anyway, basically all of MeWe is a Bustus group, Bustus League.
In all fairness, I have not come across anything yet.
But no, when it comes to knee-jerk reactions, if you've encountered one or think you might be having one, before you post anything, stop, ask yourself a question. Can you argue the opposite side enough to change your own mind?
Yeah.
If you can't, don't.
Yeah. It's been
true.
disbanded. Okay, all right, that makes sense.
Well, by God, get your ass over to MeWe, Megan, and let's start a new one.
Let's start
anyways,
all right. Are we good on this topic? Because I'm trying like hell to keep this in that 1 hour boundary.
Fuck, man.
This is a topic I think we can do it on.
Yeah.
What? We're good.
Boobs?
Yeah.
Boobs? Oh shit! I can talk about that all day long. I'm telling you.
We really need to do a nude show. We need to do a nude show with like 10 or 15 other
guys.
Yeah. Either way, it doesn't fucking matter to me. I'll have fun either way. I don't care.
Yeah.
This one we'll have to not stream to.
Exactly, Dylan. Exactly. Yeah. Not safe for work, MeWe. Yeah, no doubt.
The whole goddamn app is not safe for work. I'm in a gun group and someone had his dick pic in the fucking chat.
This is my rifle. This is my gun.
Yeah. I swear to God, it's a fucking Northeast Alabama gun trader. Someone put a fucking dick pic in there. But
that doesn't surprise me.
America.
But no. That would be a show we would have to put on DTube.
Yeah. We're fucking
DTube. That's what we should start uploading to Pornhub to see how many views we get. I'm sure we'll get more than we get on YouTube.
Probably.
Pornhub's gonna be like,
we could just get a couple of chicks we could just like blast out this meeting invite. Just get 2 or 3 chicks to come in, show some tits, and walk away. Throw it on Pornhub. You don't want to do it? You don't think we'll get any?
I cannot deal with the fallout from that. That ain't gonna happen. That ain't gonna happen. No.
All right, Horace, we're gonna start a new podcast.
Yeah, I guess you and Horace start a new boob podcast without Luke.
Boob civil boobery.
Civil and boobery. Anyway, all right. So I think we pretty much killed this. Let's keep on Marco Lebo.
Who are you, Marco? And what fucking
Marco Leba? Marco Leba has commented on it. I'm going to check that out real quick. But we are actually wanting to do something that's actually in person. We've been talking about that a lot this week. So for those of you who are in the North Alabama area, we're thinking about having a night out and maybe actually even doing a live show. Oh, he commented on the shirt. We have one of our shirts.
Oh, I don't see his comment.
I don't see his comment either, but it's in the Make California Mexico Again.
Great shirt. Yeah, you guys get your ass out there and buy some of our shirts.
Yeah, we actually had someone buy a shirt today. That's awesome. Thank you so much.
Yeah, we appreciate all your support.
Boobcast, awesome. Dylan, you said something about Etowah County. I'm not sure what the context of that is. Do you want us to do something in Etowah County? Is that what you're saying?
Because by God, I will.
Just respond in the chat.
I'll drive to Etowah County now.
I'm watching it as it comes in. But yeah, we're gonna put together a night out. Maybe do a live stream. So wherever we set up, we want everyone to come out and join us in the shenanigans. So just kind of keep an eye out for events that we're going to start posting out there. We're going to try to do it every so often. We've got another fundraiser coming up. I think we're going to kick this bad boy off somewhere around the May time frame. We're going to start raising some more money. You guys did an amazing job when it came to our last one. We did $500, and if you haven't seen, the CSNA Crisis Services in North Alabama sent us a letter confirming the donation. So if there's any skepticism in your mind that we're just here to take your money, it ain't happening. We do have fun with your money, no doubt about it. But
that was a fun trip.
There's my girl. There we go. Thank you, Aaron.
Okay, so Dylan says there's a Q&A town hall in Gadsden tomorrow if y'all want to come.
Ooh, I'm all booked.
No, seriously, I mean,
I'm just kidding.
that's fucked up. But seriously,
Yep.
like that's if something like that, you want us to come out and hang out for something like that, I'm all for it. You just gotta
Absolutely,
get us-
yeah. If you could, if you know about shit like that, and just send it to us a week ahead of time, I can make plans
a week to 2 weeks, because we do have a lot of stuff going on, personal, professional, this, that, and the other. It's hard for us to turn on a dime. So yeah, keep an eye out for the new for the events. Keep an eye out for the shirts that are coming. Buy some. They make great Christmas presents. Go and get your Christmas shopping out of the way. Pick up a couple of shirts.
Keep an eye out. Hopefully, but by the end of the week, the website will be live again.
Yes, yeah, we spent a lot of time working on this website. It may not look like it, but we have. I haven't seen the full final product yet, but we've been banging around on that. Outside of that, I mean, can't think of anything else. Any other announcements?
Oh, the Uncivil Liberty Book Club.
Oh, book club! You guys
coming out, and so we have a new group it hasn't been launched yet. I mean, it's out there, but there's not a lot in it. But we're going to be doing a Uncivil Liberty Book Club, and Horace is probably taking the lead on that since he's the only one that can read. And we're going to be doing like a maybe potentially doing some other stuff if you guys are interested, doing like a live read with some commentary, kind of explaining some of these more far out concepts, and maybe doing some movies too. So we got some exciting stuff in the pipeline.
Yeah, it'll be. And please feel free to share our page. We've been trying to kind of build up the amount of viewers. We have an amazing core amount of viewers.
Oh yeah.
Looks like Laura Lane wasn't able to make it. She's the chair of the Libertarian Party here in the state. She's been
also the chair of Uncivil Liberty.
Huh? Oh.
She's a chair of Uncivil Liberty too.
Oh, well, news to me.
You didn't know that?
I did not know that, but she is now. So. But yeah.
Lead cheerleader, definitely.
Yeah.
No doubt. Also,
she probably bought the shirt.
It's possible. God bless her. I mean, if she bought the shirt, I'll make her chair. Follow me.
Yeah.
And also, we've got something coming up in Birmingham, June 16th. Mark your calendars. We haven't officially announced yet, but go ahead and it's going to be fun. And actually, I'll be speaking. I'm slated to speak, but if a bigger name gets on the bill, I'll be happy to step away. Either way, we're gonna have a presence there. So kind of mark that in your little planners if you guys still have those little flippy planner things. If not, put it in your phone. June 16th. It's the tickets for it's about $55. It comes with all you can eat, hors d'oeuvres, cash bar, but more to come on that once everything gets solidified. Oh, that's right. She's in West Virginia. You're right. Totally forgot about that.
Yeah, and let's mention the poll too. We're gonna probably have a poll out on Facebook here, maybe if we can figure out how to fucking do it.
Yeah.
About what our first outing is going to be with you guys. So we've got a couple different ideas for what we would like to do. So we want you guys to vote for it. How you spend time with us.
Mm-hmm. And we're not that bad to hang out with. We're actually. Mm-mm. I enjoy hanging out with myself. I have the most fun with them.
Yeah.
Anyway,
I wish we could do it naked.
Naked? Yeah. I don't think anybody wants to witness that. Let me tell you.
I'm sure we can get some people to hang out with
us. An aging ginger does not look good naked. Let me tell you.
Neither does an aging cue ball. I had a 4-inch deep belly button, Luke.
Hey, all I'm thinking your 4 inches, my 4 inches. We got ourselves a nice.
That's right. Now it's a party.
All I'm thinking is what happens here stays here.
Yeah. Sounds good to me.
All right, guys. We're gonna wrap this stuff up. You wasted yet another hour and about 10 minutes or so with us. Bad. Greatly appreciate that. Check us out, Facebook. Keep an eye on some of the updates that we're gonna be putting out. A lot of stuff moving for us, and we appreciate your support. Twitter, if you want to get involved in the Twitter thing, awesome. Podcasts, share those with your friends. A lot of people like to listen to podcasts when they're driving. So maybe that might be a good way to throw some new stuff for them to listen to. Outside of that, we're going to close this thing down. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you next week.
Good night, all.
Good night, y'all.